And so here will be Jeff Gumpf, and this is regarding Amazon Web Services Workspaces. Jeff, over to you.
Good morning. I'm here to talk to you about Amazon Web Services Workspaces. This is simply a service to provide a standard Windows desktop via the cloud. It's a virtual desktop, and you access it over the internet, much as you access any other service. And this service is provided by Amazon Web Services. Amazon Web Services is an infrastructure as a service provider. So they provide traditional IT infrastructure such as servers, storage, databases, and other similar infrastructure that a company would use. And it is part of Amazon Corporation, the same company that sells you books and literally millions of other products over the web. And Amazon created Amazon Web Services to provide IT infrastructure for themselves and decided to sell infrastructure as a service to other companies. And today, literally tens of thousands of companies use Amazon Web Services to utilize IT infrastructure rather than acquiring hardware and building it in their own data centers. So why is there an interest in virtual desktops? One is manageability, the ability to provision and manage Windows desktops through a single web interface over the internet is much easier than dealing with a large number of users who have individual devices and trying to manage them. It's trying to like herd cats. Whereas with the virtual desktops, it's all done through a management interface in the cloud. Another advantage of virtual desktops is the ability to essentially create a template and you create copies of that template as virtual desktops. So it's a kind of a cookie cutter approach. You create a desktop with the software that you want as a template, and then you issue a command and a virtual desktop is created from that template. These devices are really easy to access, much as you access any other service via the web over the internet. Virtual desktops with the full graphics user interface are accessible over the internet. And not only are they accessible from traditional devices such as Windows laptops or Macintoshes, they're also accessible from tablets such as the Apple iPad or an Android tablet. And they're also accessible from Google Chromebooks so that you don't have to worry about the operating system installed on the laptop with Google Chromebooks. You just use it and it updates all by itself. Another advantage of virtual desktops is security, because all of these desktops are managed through a standard web user interface. They can be set up to conform to whatever security standards you'd like to impose. And they're all managed through that single point. And finally, agility. Agility is very easy with virtual desktops. You can literally create a virtual desktop from a template within a few moments, use it as long as you like, and when you're done, you just delete it and it's gone. So why use Amazon Web Services for virtual desktops? We looked at providing our own virtual desktop infrastructure here on campus, and literally it would require over $1 million, would require the acquisition and maintenance and operation of servers, and it would require several people to keep that infrastructure running and up to date. Whereas with AWS, they create and operate all of that underlying infrastructure. We don't have to pay for anything until we use it. And we pay for just what we use. We pay when we create the desktop, and when it's deleted, we stop paying. And it's very easy to provision, manage, and use. Basically, it takes minutes to provision a Windows virtual desktop. It can be managed through that web interface, and it can be accessed by any of the users over the internet, much like they access any other service. So last fall, we started to look at Amazon Web Services Workspaces and try to decide whether these things would be usable here on campus. And we had the School of Applied Social Sciences approach us about a problem that they had. They have a computer lab in their building, and their building was being remodeled, and so the computer lab no longer exists. And so they were in a quandary about how to provide access to students for the statistical analysis packages that they teach in some of their courses. So we suggested to them that they try a virtual workspace from AWS. And so we went over to the School of Applied Social Sciences and talked to a couple of faculty members. We brought a laptop with us and showed what these workspaces were capable of doing. And so late in that fall semester, they agreed to undergo a prototype. So we plan to support 3 classes and 26 students, and we created about 30 workspaces for those students, and that went into operation at the start of the spring 2016 semester, just a month or so ago. And after 1 week of operation, word of mouth of this proof of concept spread, and 3 other faculty members wanted to join the proof of concept. So now we have a total of 6 classes and 110 workspaces provisioned for those classes. And it seems to be going well. At the end of the semester, we'll evaluate how successful this pilot was. Other possible uses includes labs, such as the one we described. In cases where you have specialized software that would be difficult to install on systems, this is a perfect use case. Where extra security is required, this would be great. You don't have to worry about a laptop being stolen with all of the data on it. It would be useful where the use is in a short-term period of time, where you need to use it for a month or so. You can provision it, use it, and then delete it, and you only pay for what you use. And it's also a way to provision Microsoft Windows to Macs or Linux users where it would be difficult to do otherwise. So that's, in short, what Amazon Web Services Workspaces is about, and I'd be happy to entertain any questions that you might have at this time.
Thank you, Jeff, for that update. Seems like this is really the way of the future, and there's some exciting developments with this project. So a couple questions have come in, so we're going to try to bundle some of these for the sake of time here. So the first question, how does Amazon Web Services integrate with Active Directory, and then will any user be able to install their own software onto one of these virtual workspaces?
Yes, the Amazon workspaces are able to be fully integrated with Active Directory, and we're in the process of installing Active Directory on AWS so that workspaces and other applications can use it. And yes, users can install their own software if you allow them to do that, or you can prevent them from doing that as the case may warrant.
Thanks, Jeff. Another question for you. So what about offline access?
Offline access is not possible. You would need to have an active internet connection, so there's no way to reach the virtual desktop without a network connection. So you always have to be connected in order to use these.
Great. And then what type of file storage would be associated with the workspaces, and would there be any ongoing costs for departments for said storage?
Each workspace is provisioned with a certain amount of storage ranging from about 10 gigabytes to 100 gigabytes depending on the version of the workspace that you provision. And certainly it would be possible to use Google Drive or Box or any of the other web accessible file sharing mechanisms to provide access to files and data.